Well, let's see if we can get some folks in here because I got some stuff to explain before we get started. My name is Willie Lawson, and I am the host of the show called The Morning Report here on Fightback Media, fightbackmedia.com. Want to make sure that we can get some folks in here before I start explaining this because this is really very, very important. This is topical and it's happening right now, as a matter of fact. So that's why it's super important. So we're going to wait for a little bit to see if anybody shows up. And if they don't show up in the next few minutes, we're going to go ahead and get started because we're going to have some pushback. That's fine. You can have pushback, but you can't push back against the law. You can't push back against what's actually happening and what facts really are. You can push back on a lot of stuff, but the truth is the truth. And when you don't like the truth, that's not the truth's problem. It is not. It's your problem, and that's what we're going to talk about here in a little bit. We might get started right now. Everybody. Again, my name is Willie Lawson. This is kind of a nonsense breakdown for anyone who's asking. Can the president really deploy the National Guard or even the military inside cities like L.A. if things go entirely off the rails? Well, the short answer is yes. The short answer is yes, the president can do what the president has threatened to do. Now, we have to talk about this. What if a major city like Los Angeles is spiraling out of control? Like it is. Mass violence, drug gangs running wild, looting, open-air lawlessness, and the corrupt city leaders and governor are refusing to act. We've seen the headlines, smash and grabs, fentanyl overdoses, cartel-linked violence, entire sections of the city operating like a third world fiefdoms. And when local and state officials, the mayor, Bass, and the governor, Newsom, either can't or won't restore order, that's when you start hearing talk about federal intervention. And it's not just some weird right-wing fantasy. It's law. It's law. The question is, under which law does the president act? And this is what's not being told in the media. Of course not, because truth, context, nuance, who needs that? What we need is emotion, and we need chaos. Anyway, here are the legal tools. We're going to break down the toolbox. First, the National Guard. The governor of the state, Newsom, DeSantis, Abbott, Hochul, normally control the National Guard. I know it's got that national thing on it, but it's the governor of the state that normally controls the National Guard. But under Title 10, because there's two titles, there's Title 32, which is a regular title, and under Title 10, the president can federalize the Guard. When did this happen before? It happened in 1957 during the Little Rock riots in Little Rock, Arkansas, the integration crisis that happened in Little Rock. Remember those? Anybody learn about that stuff in school or maybe later? Yes, Title 10 was invoked by the Republican president, Dwight Eisenhower. And then he brought in the 101st Airborne. He brought in real soldiers, right? All right. In the second case, the Insurrection Act of 1807. Yes, that Insurrection Act is still in force. And it allows the president to use active duty military or federalize the Guard to quell rebellion, lawlessness, like we're seeing, or if rights are being denied and the state won't do anything about it. Yes, the Insurrection Act can be used. Well, when was it used before? It was used by Thomas Jefferson. It was used by Abraham Lincoln. It was used by Ulysses S. Grant. It was used by Dwight D. Eisenhower. It was used by George H.W. Bush. That's George W.'s dad. And yes, President Trump can use the Insurrection Act. Yes, it is legal. Now, politically, I'll be honest with you, it may be the death knell, but it can be used. Third, something called the Stafford Act, and we see that a lot. It's for disasters, for national disasters, earthquakes, fires, hurricanes, that kind of thing. But it opens the door for federal resources when emergencies overwhelm the local capacity. When things just get so bad that the local government or the state government can't do anything, the Stafford Act can be invoked. And then you can send in active duty military or federalize the Guard to help with stuff. Now, a lot of people are hearing that can't do this. The president's he's just invoking his ego. All this crap, especially on the socials, especially on X and here on TikTok. This has all been done before. We just mentioned 1957 in Little Rock, Arkansas. Governor Orville Faubus refused to desegregate. He just says, I ain't doing it, right? Eisenhower sent in the 101st Airborne and said, yeah, you are. You are going to obey the law. You are going to obey the law. Sent in the 101st Airborne. Real live soldiers, folks. Paratroopers. People who hop out of airplanes with guns. Are you kidding me? Yeah, dude. Faubus, you're going to obey the law. Now, in 2020, Trump threatened to do this under Title 32 of the Insurrection Act, and of course the media screamed, "Dictator, dictator!" But once you threaten that kind of stuff, everything kind of calmed down. This is real power, but it's used sparingly because the left loves the whole federal overreach until it's used to restore order, So anyway, now here are the political risks, because there are political risks to this. Deploying the military in U.S. cities is politically radioactive. It just is. The media will go bananas. And you'll hear screams of martial law, authoritarian, fascist dictatorship. But let's be real. What's more authoritarian than allowing the cartels to run your city? What's more authoritarian than allowing what's happening, what we're seeing in Los Angeles to happen? Now, because the reality is there aren't any new laws. There are no new laws. Tom Homan and ICE are just enforcing existing laws. There are no new directives. There are no new laws. There's nothing except Tom Homan has been directed to let his agency follow the existing law. And I've said in videos on the YouTube channel, yes, some of the cases that we're seeing are heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. And this idea of they're breaking up families. Well, that happens every night in America, where dad decides to get drunk, drive his car, get arrested, get put in jail, and then that family is broken up. And sometimes, when mom gets in the car after a little bit too much wine, she gets busted for DUI, gets sent to jail. Her kids get sent to Child Protective Services. She's broken up her own family. It happens. It happens way too often, and it's very, very sad. It is sad, but it's not a reason to not enforce the law. It's not a reason to not enforce the law. It isn't. Some of these people have been here for 20 years. and have shown no danger necessarily, but they have broken the law. They have. Because it's against the law to come into the country illegally. It's against the law. So they have broken the law. So they have run afoul, and it is perfectly okay to send them back to their country of origin. Sort of just like every other country in the world does. This is what's amazing to me. What's amazing to me is that there isn't a place on the planet, not one single place on the planet, that you could decide, well, I live here now. I'm just going to plop myself down. I live here now. I think I'll apply for some welfare or or whatever they have to offer here. I'll send my kids to the school. There's not one place on earth you can do that. Not one. And some places, forget sending you back. They just put your ass in jail. You get caught, into jail you go. Here, that's not the case. Here, you come across the border and you say, I'm here for political asylum. Okay, your court date is in 10 years. And we say, I'm never going to see this person ever again. And you're not. Let's be real. Because the percentage of people who come back for their asylum hearing are almost zero. Which means that the system, or the lack of enforcing the laws, has really suckered a lot of people into what we're seeing now, which is a horrific situation. It's like this. I don't know if this is a good analogy, but it's like this. It's like when your kids do something bad and you don't do anything about it, and then it escalates. And you never do anything about it. They get in trouble at school. You're sort of hands off, whatever, to be all right. And then they get in trouble with the law the first time, and you're like, oh, boys will be boys. They're just kids. They'll be all right. Until something horrible happens. Something terrible happens. They get hurt, or they hurt somebody else, and now it just got real. Somebody's laying in a hospital with a bullet wound. And the reality of the matter is that if you had addressed them when they were small, you might have prevented it. So now we have people in the country who have been here 10, 15, 20 years, have built this false life. Some of them have compounded their crimes by getting Social Security numbers that don't belong to them, applying for food stamps that they're not eligible for, applying for all sorts of benefits that they're not eligible for, because now they have a Social Security number, getting driver's licenses that they are not eligible for, voting, which they are not eligible for. They've compounded this one thing that, if handled right away, they would never be in the mess that they're in now. So if the left is mad about something, they need to be mad about all the people who did nothing for all these years, that gave some of these poor people, these poor, sad cases, they gave them this false hope, this fake environment, this fake world they were living in. Yeah, hell yeah, you people, and there's so much tension in in our community. Yeah, hell yeah, there is. The tension is because a lot of these fairly good people know that they've broken the law and understand that it is perfectly within the rights of this country to send them back where they came from. And they don't want to go. Why? Because things are too good for them here. And I'm not just talking about the people who are getting welfare and getting SNAP. And life in general is much better here than a lot of the places they came from El Salvador and Venezuela and Mexico and you name it. and you name it. So, of course they don't want to go back. And they've built a life here. Now, this life is false. It's false. It should have never been here. But they've built a life here, and they don't want to leave it. They've got family here. They've got friends here. They've got a job here. They've been here 20 years. Of course. And who's to blame? A nation of people and its government that refuse to enforce the law. That's who to blame. Now, it's not to blame now when you have an administration, whether it's Trump or Rubio or Bush or whomever, or the deporter in chief Barack Obama, who decided, people have to obey the law. That nobody is above the law, even when it's sad. Even when it's sad. Now, we read about these cases, we see these cases on the news where people are distraught. Yeah, I get it. It's terrible. And what makes me angry is that we let this go on so long. We let it go on so long. Not 5 months, but 5 years. Not 5 years, but 15 years. Kids are in school. They've built relationships. Some of these good people may be doing good things in their community, but it's all built on falsehood. It's all built on an illegal premise. And what they knew is that at some point, somebody would find out. And the day of reckoning has come. And the people in the streets in LA protesting, those aren't the same people. Those are the same. Let me help you with this because you're going to find out. This is the Occupy Wall Street people. This is the George Floyd riots people. That's who those folks are. Those are the anarchists and the communists. That's who they are. Those aren't the people who are like, you know what, Jose and Maria are in a real bad spot. That's not who those people are. Who are throwing rocks, off overpasses, cinder blocks, and on the cop cars. Who are throwing Molotov cocktails at ICE agents, who are doxing ICE agents. That's not just people who are worried about Maria and Jose. It's not. That's the Occupy Wall Street folks. That's the George Floyd riot people, which are the same group of people. Now, interspersed in there are some people who care about the people I mentioned, Jose Maria, Jesus. Yeah, I'm being super racist here, but you understand what I'm talking about. Yes, they are interspersed in there. But the people who are organizing the mess and causing the trouble, who are causing the danger, and this danger is real. Right now, they're shooting rubber bullets. We can end up, if things don't calm down and calm down soon, like today or tomorrow, the U.S. military, like the Marines, can show up and they may very well have live ammunition. Real bullets. Real bullets shot from people who know how to shoot. Real bullets from people who are taught to run into the firefight. Not hide behind a car. Not run under an overpass. No, to run towards where the trouble is. Those folks are coming. And someone's going to get bad hurt. Some people may even get killed. And it won't be Trump's fault. As easy as it would be to blame him. This would be on the people who organized these protests and couldn't wait until they became violent. because what they're trying to do is develop what they call a dilemma of decision, because there are no good choices here. The administration cannot let these things go on because people will get hurt anyway. They just can't let it happen, go on. They just can't let, you can't let LA burn. Because soon it'll be New York, and then it'll be Atlanta, and then it'll be Chicago, and then it'll be Miami, Dallas. You got to do something. So the first thing about this letting it happen is not a good thing. That's really not a choice. The second choice is almost worse. Sending the military in with, to fire live bullets at American citizens. Horrific choice on all sorts of levels, including politically. But if the communists and the anarchists and the Antifa type could force the administration's hand into option number 2, then they have a chance to win politically. And the sickest thing about all of this, is that it's all political. What you're seeing is political. It's not humanitarian. That's BS. It's political. They're trying to get some political mileage out of it. And they're using real humans as shields. Real humans that actually care about some of the things they actually say they care about. It's awful. Because there are people in the country who believe that we have coddled these people for too long. The founders didn't write the Constitution to protect street gangs and Antifa and some Soros-backed prosecutors. They wrote it to secure domestic tranquility. You know what that is, right? Peace at home. Peace. It's in the preamble. Look it up. So let's say it plain. While Trump is president and LA is in a full-blown collapse, total loss of control, innocent people are dying, infrastructure is at risk, he could absolutely and probably will deploy the military under the Insurrection Act and be perfectly within his rights to do so. See, this is what you're not going to hear from the mainstream media. I hate that term, legacy media. You're not going to hear about that on MSNBC, CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS. You're not. You might not even hear it on Fox. You will hear it on Newsmax, and you will hear it on Fight Back Media. It's the law, and he's perfectly within his rights to do so. Here's how it might go down. Trump issues a proclamation ordering the rioters to disperse. He can say, "Oh, all right, I'm ordering the rioters to disperse, and you have 24 hours." So if they don't, at that point he invokes the Insurrection Act, which is again perfectly within his rights. And at that point, he can also federalize the California National Guard and or deploy federal troops. He temporarily restores order, just like Bush did in 1992. And guess what? The Constitution allows for it. It's not a power grab. It's a rescue mission. Again, you're going to hear it called a power grab, but it's not a power grab. It's not a power grab. It's a rescue mission. The Constitution of the United States allows for it. So again, the next time somebody says, Trump just can't send in troops in the city, yes, he can. Ask them, do you like anarchy more than accountability? And the fact of the matter, yes, he can. Certainly. I would hope and pray that it doesn't come to that, because innocent people are going to get killed if it comes to that. That's all there is to it. And this really isn't about military rule. It's about defending citizens when the state fails. Because if it continues, innocent people are going to get killed. People who are like, whatever, I don't really care one way or the other. I'm just trying to get to work. I'm just trying to take my kids to school. I'm just trying to get some groceries. Are going to get hurt. Some of them are going to get killed if things don't get calmed down. And if local politicians care more about virtue signaling than public safety, then yes, the feds can and should step in. Our country wasn't built on cowards. It was built by men and women who faced down mobs, protected liberty, and weren't afraid to use the tools of the Constitution that the Constitution gives them. So yeah, Trump or any president can absolutely send in the Guard, can absolutely send in the Army, can absolutely send in the Air Force, can absolutely send in the Marines, Space Force, right? Yes, it is completely legal. And don't let anybody tell you that it isn't. Article 10 certainly can. So if things don't settle down in LA, I think you're going to see it. I think you're going to see it. And cities that think that they're going to act in simpatico, in support of, people need to really think twice. And if you're thinking that you're going to go out and throw rocks at the cops, or you're going to throw rocks at ICE agents, and you're going to try to firebomb their car, you better think twice. You better think about it one more time, and decide not to do it. Because if you get in the way of them enforcing the law, now you've broken the law. And it's your freedom that you will be risking. Because that's how this is going to go down. That's just how it's going to go down. If you want to know more, fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com. Check out the videos, check out the audio broadcast. If you happen to be one of the few people, let's see here. Yes. Mom Italy is intoxicating. It's very true. It is. That's an awesome statement. So you want to know more about what we do here on the Morning Report of Fight Back Media? Go to fightbackmedia.com. Fightbackmedia.com. Check out our YouTube channel. Check out our Facebook page. Check out all our stuff. Join us here on the TikTok. I hardly ever do live on the TikTok because most of the time I'm in my car and TikTok doesn't like that. So it's I don't know, 2:00 in the damn morning, and here I am. I still have a video to do for the YouTube channel. But anyway, thank you for if you dropped in and you stayed for a little bit. Go ahead and tap the screen a few times if you will. That way people will show up and people will be able to see some part of the live, or at least hear about it. That'd be very, very kind that you would do that. Thank you. I'm not trying to use TikTok to make a buck. I'm not going to get involved in the TikTok shop. First of all, it's way too much work. It's just way too much damn work. I don't want to do it. But some taps on the screen would really help the algorithm and let people know that Fight Back Media and the Morning Report are here. And again, if this breakdown helped you, and it helped you talk to people around you who are saying this or that, then again, tap the screen. We appreciate that. Click the like button. Follow. Please follow. We appreciate that great. Because this is where, as long as we have it, where the truth can get out. Because the mainstream and the legacy, what they don't want to happen is the truth to get out. They do not. And they have a lot of people out there who are ready to repeat whatever they say, no matter how incorrect it happens to be. I try my best. I have failed but I try my best to only talk about what's true and what's real. I like a lot of people, have made mistakes and said the wrong thing out loud in public, and I've had to come back and and apologize. But this is the truth. I'm not telling you anything tonight that's wrong. I'm not telling you anything tonight that's incorrect. I'm not. What I'm telling you is that everything. Thank you for the follow. Is correct. It's actually the gospel that you can look up yourself. Article 32, Article 10. Look it up. I just pray that it doesn't happen for a lot of reasons, but the big reason is I'd hate to see American citizens get killed by American troops on American soil. It's the worst of all situations. It is absolutely the worst of all situations. And still, these people will get rounded up and deported. And from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, this all started for some ICE raids that netted 44 detainees. 44? Are you serious? This is why you have to look into this. Do you think that people are ready to burn down LA because of 44 people? Do you really? Come on. So it can't be about those 44 people. That's not enough. If ICE had showed up and, put 10,000 people, rounded up 10,000 people the first day, put them in 50-foot trailers and driven them across the border in the desert, that'd be one thing. But they found 44 people. 44. And people are ready to burn the city down? They're not. These are the anarchists. These are the Antifa types. These are the Occupy Wall Street. These are the George Floyd riot anarchists. That's who these people are. Because a lot of people, who were bussed in, and we saw. Let's see if I can read that. How many people would be acceptable to me? Any number of people who had entered the country illegally. Any number of people who had entered the country illegally. Whether that number is 44, whether that number is 4,044, whether that number is 44,044. If you've entered the country illegally and you're living here illegally, it is perfectly within the rights of the government of this country, or any government in the world, to make sure that you don't live there anymore. You can't go to France and do that. You can't go to England and do that. You can't go to Zimbabwe and do that. You can't go to the Congo and do that. You can't go to South Africa and do that. You can't do that in Israel. You can't do that in Saudi Arabia. You can't do that in Russia. You can't do that in Madagascar. You can't do that in Mexico. You can't do that in Bolivia or Chile Chile. You can't do that in Brazil. You can't do that in Japan, especially in Japan. Good God. Or Australia, because Australia ain't having it. Or New Zealand. You can't do that anywhere in the world. You can't do that anywhere in the world. I don't know what some of you people are thinking. It's like 12-year-old girls. It's not fair. It's not fair. Okay, it might not be. We have so much and they have so little. Mm-hmm. Now, now the phone is way away, so I have to look. They try to erase the term illegal because it brings nuance and specifics to the debate. Yeah, because no human is illegal. No, but humans do illegal things. And if you do illegal things and you're an American citizen and you do something illegal, they'll put your non-legal self in jail. So this is it's silly semantics. and the silly semantics that people get wrapped up in. So I try not to. So if I'm going to call someone an illegal alien, that's a perfectly legitimate phrase. Now, someone can be an alien here, and people with green cards are aliens. Why? Because you weren't from here. You're an alien. And that's all that means. An alien is not a derogatory term. It's just a descriptive one. I mean, it's again, this is silly semantics from people who think they know what words mean. Like dictionaries don't exist somehow. And the definition in dictionaries are all racist, written by racist white men. Stop it. So if I want to say illegal alien, if that's the phrase I choose to use, that's the correct phrase. Even if it makes you uncomfortable, even if it makes you sad, even if it pisses you off, it's a correct term. Lord knows that I've been sitting here, I've been called a lot worse than an illegal alien. What's that song? It's no fun being an illegal alien. Who did that song? Where'd that song come from? It's no fun being an illegal alien. Oh, anybody remember that? I don't know where that's from. It's just in the cobwebs in my brain. But I mean, so it's okay. It's okay to use the proper terms. It's perfectly okay. And here's how you stop being called an illegal alien. Don't be one. If you want to come to this country, I mean, this country is as welcoming and easy to assimilate in as any in the world. Just show up at a port of entry and say, hey, sure like to live here. I love this place. You know, we vacationed here a couple of times, and you know, LA rocks. It's great. East LA, baby. Here's your paperwork. It's a process. And if you're ready for the process, because the process says we think the existence here in our nation is valuable. Now, I know some people who were born here and are children who are, you know, expected, don't believe that our existence is worth something. Our life here, the way that we live life in these United States, is valuable. It's worth something. It has value. And in that, you can't just give it away for nothing. There's got to be a process. It shows that you care about who you are, what you're doing, what you're about. And that's all our process is. And if you only want to go halfway and get a green card, you can do that too. So you can work, so you can participate, so you can pay taxes, you can do all of the stuff. The only thing you won't be able to do is vote. But you can change that anytime you get ready by continuing the process. My across the street neighbor from Canada has a green card and had a green card for years. He said the only thing that it stops him from doing is voting. Okay. He's a professional musician, so he still has to fill out taxes. As a matter of fact, the dude he's an accountant, so he is super good at the whole tax thing. It's too bad that he and the lady he was married to, they got divorced, so he's not available to me anymore. It's kind of a bummer, but yeah, do it right. Just frickin' do it right. Because our lifestyle here in these United States is valuable. It has value. This is why people want to be here. This is why. This is why we get people coming from all over the planet who want to go to school here, who want to work here, who want to live here, who want to be amongst us, even in our mess. I don't know why that's hard to understand for people nowadays. Even in our mess, you know? Let's see. Even in our mess, people want to be here. It's crazy. I think it's insane sometimes. Really? Even in our political mess, even in our environmental mess, even in our in our economic mess, people want to come here. They want to live here. They want to be amongst us. They want to walk our streets. When yes, there are streets in other countries that are cleaner. There is food in other countries that is better, healthier. But they want to be part of this American experiment of self-governance. They don't want to be under a king or a queen. They want to be able to have a say in the things that happen around them and happen to them. They want to be part of this tremendous experiment in self-governance that has been like none other in the history of the world. Our experience here, the American experience, is valuable. It's worth something. And we should, and we're perfectly within our rights to make sure that if you want to experience this, that you do it within our rules, within our guidelines, within our regulations. We're perfectly within our rights to do so. All right, we got to get out of here. It is 2 o'clock in the morning, and Will's got stuff to do still. Hopefully I can be in bed before the sun comes up here in Florida. In any case, again, thank you. If you like what we're talking about, go ahead and go ahead and give a follow. That would be great. I'd love to get over 300, up to 300 followers, which I do not have still. I know that's amazing. But if you would do that, that would be great. And for all the folks who are saying hi, how y'all doing? I can't reach the screen where I am, and I appreciate it. In any case, we love you, and there's something you can do about it. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We will see you when we see you. Bye-bye now. Good night.